You want to know the biggest mistake the Kalarathi Empire ever made? They let a 17-year-old human girl sign up for the trials. That's it. That's the mistake. And yeah, I was there. I watched the whole thing unfold. And honestly, I'm still trying to process what I saw. Let me set the scene for you. The Trials of Ascension, right? It's this ancient Kalarve tradition been going on for like 3,000 years or something. Warriors from across the galaxy come to prove themselves in combat. Win the trials, you get a seat on the High Council. You get power, wealth, respect, all that good stuff. Lose? Well, let's just say most losers don't walk away. The trials don't mess around. Now, I'm Vector. I'm a combat analyst. Basically, I sit in the observation decks and watch people fight, then I write reports about their techniques, their strategies, whatever. It's a living. I've seen thousands of competitors over the years, seen the best warriors from 100 different species, seen champions who could split a boulder with their bare hands, seen tacticians who could outsmart a quantum computer. I thought I'd seen everything. Then she showed up. Her name was Claire Donovan, 17 years old, human, from some backwater colony called New Terra, or something equally unimaginative. She walked into the registration hall wearing, and I'm not making this up, a torn jacket, combat boots that had seen better days, and this expression on her face like she was waiting in line at a grocery store. Not nervous, not excited, just there. The registration officer, this massive Kalarathi named Drakan, he took one look at her and laughed. I mean, really laughed. His mandibles were clicking, his chest was heaving, the whole deal. He said, and I quote, "Little human, this is not a playground. Go home before you get hurt." Claire just stared at him. Didn't blink. Didn't flinch. She said, "I paid the entry fee. I'm registered. Either process my application or give me my money back." The silence that followed was, well, it was something. You have to understand, nobody talks to a Kalarathi official like that, ever. Their species literally built an empire on the principle of respect through intimidation. This girl, this human kid, she just stood there like she was asking for directions to the nearest bathroom. Drakan processed her application. I think he was too stunned to do anything else. The betting pools opened immediately, of course. Because that's what happens in the trials. People bet on everything. Who's going to win? Who's going to lose? Who's going to survive past the first round? The odds on Claire, 2,000 to 1 against her surviving. Not winning, mind you. Just surviving the first trial. Most people were betting she'd forfeit before the fighting even started. I didn't bet. I was curious. There was something about the way she moved, the way she held herself. It was different. Humans are usually either overconfident or terrified when they show up to events like this. She was neither. She was calm, calculating. The first trial was arena combat. Straightforward enough. You get thrown into a pit with 3 opponents, all at once. Last one standing moves forward. The trials don't believe in fair fights. They believe in seeing what you're made of when the odds are stacked against you. Claire's opponents? A Vorkan heavy bruiser built like a tank with arms, a Sylph assassin, all speed and venom, and a Kryn soldier, military trained, carrying enough weapons to supply a small army. The crowd was already losing interest. This was going to be over in seconds. Brutal, yes, but quick. The girl didn't stand a chance. The gate opened, the 3 opponents charged, and Claire, she just stood there. Didn't move, didn't draw a weapon. She just waited. The Vorkan reached her first. He swung this massive fist. Could have caved in a starship hull. Claire sidestepped. Not even a big movement, just shifted her weight. The Vorkan's momentum carried him past her and she was already moving before he hit the ground. She grabbed his arm, used his own weight against him, and flipped him. All 200 kilos of him just airborne. He crashed into the Sylph assassin who was coming up behind her. Both of them went down in a tangle of limbs. The Kryn soldier. He was smarter. He kept his distance, started shooting. Energy bolts, 3 per second, trained military precision. Claire was already running. Not away from him, toward him. She zigzagged, kept low, used the fallen Vorkan as cover for half a second. The Kryn adjusted, tried to track her, but she was faster than she had any right to be for someone her size. She closed the distance in 4 seconds, kicked the rifle out of his hands before he could react. He reached for a sidearm. She was faster, grabbed his wrist, twisted. There was this awful cracking sound, and the weapon clattered to the ground. The Kryn stumbled back and Claire hit him 3 times. Face, throat, solar plexus. He went down. The crowd, which had been murmuring and laughing and placing last-minute bets, went silent. Dead silent. The Sylph assassin was back on her feet now, hissing, fangs extended. She was angry. Bad idea that. Anger makes you sloppy. She lunged, fast as lightning, venom dripping from her claws. Claire dropped flat, rolled, came up behind her. The Sylph spun, slashed, caught nothing but air. Claire was already inside her guard, grabbed the Sylph's arm, pulled it across her own body, and drove her elbow into the assassin's face. Once, twice, 3 times. The Sylph collapsed. The Vorkan was getting up, shaking his head, trying to clear the stars from his vision. Claire walked over to him, picked up the Krynian's dropped rifle and pointed it at his face. She said, "Stay down." He stayed down. Total time elapsed, 47 seconds. I timed it. 47 seconds to take down 3 experienced fighters in a straight brawl. The betting screens glitched. People were staring. Some of them had their mouths hanging open. One guy dropped his drink. Claire walked out of the arena like nothing had happened, like she'd just finished a light workout. That's when things got interesting. The second trial was strategic command. Less about fighting, more about thinking. Competitors get assigned a small squad of drones and have to complete a series of objectives in a simulated war zone. Most people approach it like a video game. Find the enemy. Eliminate the enemy. Move to the next objective. Standard stuff. Claire? She ignored the objectives. Completely. Just didn't even look at them. Instead, she spent the first 5 minutes watching the simulation, studying the terrain, analyzing patrol patterns. Then she sent all her drones to one location, had them hunker down and wait. The observers were confused. I was confused. What was she doing? The clock was ticking. Every second she wasted was a point deduction. Other competitors were already halfway through their objectives. She was just sitting there. Then the enemy simulation attacked. Because that's what happens when you don't complete objectives. The simulation throws everything at you. Full assault. Overwhelming force. It's designed to punish hesitation. Except Claire wasn't hesitating. She was setting a trap the moment the enemy forces entered the kill zone she'd mapped out. She triggered it. Every drone opened fire at once. Synchronized, overlapping fields of fire. The enemy got caught in a crossfire with nowhere to run. It was beautiful. In a violent, tactical sort of way, the simulation's forces were wiped out in 12 seconds. With the main enemy force eliminated, Claire casually completed all the objectives in under 3 minutes. No resistance, no challenge. She finished with the highest score in trial history. By a lot, the betting odds shifted. 2,000 to 1 became 800 to 1. People were starting to pay attention. The third trial was survival. Competitors get dropped in a hostile environment for 24 hours. No supplies, no weapons, just you and whatever you can scavenge. The environment cycles through different hazards. Extreme heat, extreme cold, toxic atmosphere, predatory fauna. Most people spend the whole time running and hiding, just trying to make it to the extraction point alive. Claire? She built a shelter with her bare hands, found some debris, some natural materials, and just constructed this little fortress, insulated against the cold, shielded from the heat, filtered the toxic air. Then she set traps around the perimeter. When the predatory fauna showed up, big nasty things with too many teeth, they walked right into her traps. She killed 3 of them, harvested the meat, cooked it, ate dinner, slept for 8 hours. When extraction came, she was sitting outside her shelter, well rested, well fed, looking like she'd just come back from a camping trip. The medics who showed up to check on her didn't know what to do. Usually they're treating people for hypothermia, dehydration, injuries. She asked them if they had any coffee. The odds became 400 to 1, then 200, then 100. Claire Donovan, the human girl nobody took seriously, was winning, and she wasn't just winning. She was dominating. The other competitors started to notice. Some of them got angry. Humans aren't supposed to be this good. They're supposed to be weak, fragile, easy to break. That's what everyone thought. Anyway, that's what the propaganda said. But here was this kid, this teenager, making elite warriors look like amateurs. The fourth trial was dueling. One-on-one combat. No rules. First to yield or die loses. Claire's opponent was a guy named Thorgax. Kalrathi champion. 16 consecutive victories in the trials, built like a mountain. Had these cybernetic enhancements that made him stronger, faster, tougher than baseline. He was scary. Really scary. The crowd loved him. They faced off in the arena. Thorgax was grinning. Confident. Already thinking about his 17th victory. The signal sounded. He charged. Claire didn't. She waited. Again. That same calm, patient stance. Watching. Analyzing. Thorgax swung. Claire ducked. He swung again. She sidestepped. He kept attacking. Big, powerful strikes. Any one of which would have ended the fight. Claire kept dodging. Barely, just enough. Conserving energy. Letting him tire himself out. The crowd was getting restless. Some people were booing. They wanted to see her fight back, not dance around. But I understood what she was doing. She was learning. Every attack Thorgax threw, she was memorizing. His patterns, his preferences, After 2 minutes of this, Thorgax was breathing hard. Those cybernetic enhancements, they drain energy fast. He was slowing down. Claire noticed. Of course she noticed. She stopped dodging and started moving forward. Attacking now. Fast, precise strikes. Not trying to overpower him, just hitting weak points. Joints. Nerve clusters. Places where even cybernetic armor doesn't help. Thorgax tried to grab her. Bad move. She slipped under his arm, got behind him, jumped onto his back. She wrapped her arm around his neck in this chokehold, locked it in tight. He tried to throw her off. Couldn't. She had her legs wrapped around his torso, holding on like a damn vise. He staggered, reached back, trying to pull her off. She just held on. Squeezed tighter. Thorgax dropped to one knee. Then the other. His vision was going dark. You could see it in his eyes. Claire leaned close and whispered something. We couldn't hear it on the monitors, but later Thorgax told people what she said. She said, tap out or take a nap. Your choice. He tapped out. 16-time champion. Tapped out to a 17-year-old human girl. The arena exploded. Half the crowd was cheering. The other half was too shocked to make a sound. The odds? 50-1, then 20, then 10. Claire Donovan was going to the finals. Against all logic, against all expectations, she was going to face the reigning champion. The champion's name was Krexos. And he was, well, he was a nightmare. Literally. Some species use his image to scare their children into behaving. 9 years as champion. Never lost. Never even came close to losing. He was 2.5 meters tall, covered in natural armor plating, had reflexes that bordered on precognitive. He'd killed 47 opponents in the arena. 47. He didn't believe in mercy. The final trial was announced. Open combat. No time limit. No interference. Fight until one of you can't fight anymore. The whole galaxy was watching. Trillions of viewers. This was history in the making. One way or another. Either Krexos would maintain his reign, or this unknown human girl would pull off the impossible. They entered the arena from opposite sides. Krexos was grinning. He said something to Claire, probably threatening her, trying to intimidate her. She just looked at him. That same calm expression. Then she said something back. The microphones picked it up. She said, "You've never fought a human before, have you?" Krexos laughed. He said, "Humans are weak. Fragile. This will be over quickly." Claire smiled. First time I'd seen her smile. It was unsettling. She said, "That's what everyone keeps saying, they're always wrong." The signal sounded. Krexos charged. Of course he did. That's his style. Overwhelming force. Brutal efficiency. He was fast. I'll give him that. Faster than something his size had any right to be. He reached Claire in 2 seconds, swung this massive clawed hand at her head. She wasn't there. She'd rolled to the side, came up in a crouch. Krexos adjusted, swung again, missed again. He was getting frustrated. Good. Frustrated opponents make mistakes. Claire knew that. She was counting on it. They circled each other. Krexos was being more careful now, watching her, trying to predict her movements. Claire was doing the same. It was like watching two chess masters, except with more violence. Then Claire did something unexpected. She stopped moving, just stood there, arms at her sides, Waiting. Krexos saw an opening. He lunged. Claire moved at the last possible second, but not quite fast enough. His claws caught her across the ribs, tore through her jacket, drew blood. The crowd gasped. First hit of the fight. First blood. It looked bad. Claire looked down at the wound, then back up at Krexos. She was still smiling. She said, "Okay, now we're even." Krexos was confused. Even? What was she talking about? She'd just gotten hit. She was bleeding. How was that even? Then I realized what she meant. She'd let him hit her. On purpose. She wanted him to think he had the advantage. Wanted him to get overconfident. It was brilliant and completely insane. Krexos attacked again, more aggressive now, thinking he was winning. Claire blocked, parried, countered. Her movements were different now, faster, sharper, like she'd been holding back before. Every time Krexos swung, she was ready. Every time he tried to grab her, she slipped away. She was reading him perfectly. Then she went on the offensive. Hit him in the knee. He staggered. She hit him again, same spot. Then the other knee. Krexos tried to catch her. She ducked under his arm, came up behind him, kicked the back of his leg. He went down on one knee. Claire jumped, wrapped her legs around his neck from behind, twisted, hard. Krexos crashed face first into the arena floor. The crowd was going absolutely berserk. Krexos, the undefeated champion, was on the ground. He tried to get up. Claire kicked him in the head. Once, twice, he rolled away, shaking it off. His armor had absorbed most of the impact, but she was getting to him, wearing him down, death by 1,000 cuts. They fought for 10 more minutes, back and forth, neither one giving an inch. Krexos landed hits. Claire landed more. He was stronger, but she was faster. He was experienced, but she was adaptable. Every time he tried something, she had an answer. Every time she attacked, he barely defended. It was the most intense fight I'd ever seen, and I've seen thousands. Then Krexos made a mistake. He overextended on a swing, left his side exposed. Just for a second, Claire saw it. She always saw everything. She moved in, hit him in the ribs, right where his armor plates separated. Her fist connected with flesh. Krexos roared in pain. She hit him again, same spot, then a third time. Something cracked. Ribs, probably. He stumbled back, clutching his side. Claire didn't let up. She pressed forward, attacking relentlessly now. Face, throat, injured ribs, over and over. Krexos tried to fight back, but he was hurt, slowing down. His movements were getting sluggish. Claire wasn't. If anything, she was getting faster, like she'd been conserving energy the whole time, and now she was using everything she had left. Krexos swung one more time, a desperate haymaker. Claire ducked under it, got inside his guard, and drove her elbow into his throat. Hard. Krexos gasped, choked, collapsed to his knees. Claire stood in front of him, breathing hard, blood still dripping from the wound in her side. She waited. The arena was silent, waiting to see what would happen. Krexos looked up at her. He could have kept fighting, could have tried one more attack, but he didn't. He lowered his head, yielded. After 9 years as champion, Krexos yielded to a human girl. The crowd erupted. People were screaming, cheering, throwing things into the arena. The betting pools crashed. Millions of credits changed hands in seconds. Claire Donovan had won the Trials of Ascension, 17 years old. Human. Nobody. She'd just beaten the best warriors the galaxy had to offer. They crowned her right there in the arena. Gave her the title, the seat on the High Council, all of it. Claire accepted with the same calm expression she'd had since day one, like she'd known she was going to win all along. Like it was inevitable. After the ceremony, I went to interview her. That was my job, after all. I found her in the medical bay getting her ribs stitched up. I asked her the question everyone wanted to know. How? How did she do it? She was human. Humans aren't supposed to be that good. What was her secret? Claire looked at me like I'd asked the dumbest question in the universe. She said, "You all keep saying humans are weak, fragile, easy to break. But you know what? We're the only species that evolved on a death world. We're the only ones who had to fight for every single day of survival. We learned to adapt or die. We learned to outthink things stronger than us. We learned to never give up, no matter how bad it got. You want to know my secret? I'm human. That's the secret. We don't quit." I published that interview. It went viral. Billions of views. And you know what happened? More humans started showing up to the trials. And they started winning. Not all of them, obviously. But enough. Enough to make people realize that everything they thought they knew about humans was wrong. Humans weren't weak. They were terrifying. They just didn't bother to prove it until someone gave them a reason. The Kilrathi Empire changed their recruitment policies after that, started actively seeking out human warriors. Other species did the same. Within a year, humans were serving in elite units across the galaxy. Within 5 years, there were 3 more humans on the High Council, all because one girl decided to prove a point. Claire Donovan served on the council for 30 years, became one of the most respected voices in galactic politics. She fought for Earth's interests, for human colonies, for fair treatment of all species. She was exactly what the galaxy needed. Someone who understood that strength isn't just about size or power, it's about will, determination, refusing to stay down when everyone expects you to quit. And that's the story. That's how a 17-year-old human girl became the most dangerous person in the galaxy. By refusing to be underestimated. By showing up and proving everyone wrong. By being impossibly, brilliantly, stubbornly human. I still watch the recording sometimes. Still can't believe what I saw. But it happened. It's all documented. Claire Donovan, the girl who changed everything. The girl who taught the galaxy to never ever underestimate a human. Especially when that human happens to be a teenage girl with something to prove. Best mistake the Kilrathi Empire ever made? Letting her sign up for the trials. Worst mistake? Underestimating her. They'll never make that mistake again. None of us will. This story taught us the following lesson today. Never judge someone's capability by their appearance, age, or species. True strength comes not from size or power, but from determination, adaptability, and the refusal to quit when everyone expects you to fail. Those who are underestimated often become the most dangerous, because they have everything to prove and nothing to lose.